Let's start No Fence Riders because Joe's coming on at 12 no matter what. So let's get these in. We may end Maurice with Ohio State then. As soon as he's ready, we'll bring him in.
All right, just let us know when he's in. So where are we starting No Fence Riders?
This is No Fence Riders, yes or no answers to questions about the game. A lot of them involve the one and only Deshaun Watson, including question 1. Will Deshaun Watson target Amari Cooper more than Donovan Peoples-Jones and David Bell combined? Only one person said no, and that is G. Bush.
It was an odd question, by the way.
Very. I thought it was strange. David Bell has made a picture.
There's been a sighting
from the graveyard. David Bell is it? I don't think so. I think he'll be spreading the ball around. It's spray game. Like I think Deshaun Watson has never really targeted one person, and I just think he'll throw the ball to who's ever open until he figures out some sort of rapport with people. But for me, no. I think he'll throw the ball around.
Well, I'm just looking at. I think, I don't know if you went back and looked at the previous 11 games. I would imagine that in 9 of those 11 games, Amari Cooper had more targets than the 2 of them combined. Just my guess.
He did it most, but not last week.
I know not last week, but from my memory, the majority of the games, he was the overwhelming target. And there were games where we kept asking, is David Bell still on the team?
Yeah.
You know, he was out of a milk carton.
I think they ran more 3-receiver sets last week than they have all year. I think we'll see more of that.
Why do you guys think that? That they did that?
Maybe to kind of get ready for Watson.
I wondered about that too. I wondered about that.
I think well, twofold. You look at it when you run more 3-receiver sets. That means you take one of your tight ends out of the game.
Right.
So Harrison Bryant's out of the game, and you look at it, they'll probably be throwing the ball more. The truth is, you know, if you're throwing the ball a lot and Nick Chubb is getting 16, 17 carries or whatever the case may be, and you get a top-notch quarterback who you think is going to be great, you're going to be throwing the ball a little more. You have more diversity in receivers and routes. I mean, I don't think I've seen a 4 wide receiver set all that much.
Not for the Browns.
Maybe in a couple games when they were down big.
And that's a regular sight in other teams, right?
Yeah, sure.
So,
yeah, we haven't seen it.
All right, Maurice is setting up right now, so we'll bring him in on the next question.
Okay.
But for this one, question number 2. Will the Houston Texans score at least 3 times this game? It was a 4-2 split. Tyvis, G, Brad, and Bull said yes.
Wow.
Jay and Jason said no.
Damn, I hope they don't.
Field goals count, right?
No, they count.
Field goals count. This is any
3
three
scoring
scores.
drives.
I've totally.
Or it could be a pick six or
Pick six is-
return
they have
I
fumble.
mean, the Browns haven't held any team under 3. I know the Texans are terrible.
Well, that's the thing.
Awful.
I'm kind of flipped on this. I've thought all along this game was going to be close and they were going to struggle.
Yeah.
Texans have given up.
Tom Brady and the Bucs only scored 3 times.
Right. I just could see the game. I think it's going to be a blowout, but I could see it being, 31-13.
They get a couple cheap ones late or something?
Yeah, right. I think it's going to be a blowout. That's what happened last week against Miami. They scored 3, I think 3, maybe
It was
twice.
30-0, and it ended up
at
30-15.
Yeah.
So, all right. It's interesting. I hope they don't. I just keep thinking, I know how good that defense can be. I know the individual pieces, and I know sometimes, the sum of the parts. But I keep saying, there's got to be something there. And they've got to be getting closer to it just through trial and error.
Yeah, but, it could be 9 points. I mean.
Now, it could be 9 points, but I think they're going to really, really step up.
If the Browns are up like that at halftime, I'm interested to see if he continues to put his foot on the gas. Stefanski doesn't seem like a guy who's still going to throw the ball all over the park.
He calls plays to the scoreboard, always has.
So my thing is, if they're up and you got a new quarterback, I think you should still keep running your offense.
To use it as live reps.
It's live reps.
I think they're going to run the ball a lot in this game.
Really?
You do?
Yeah, because I think they're not going to want to overdo it in Watson's first game, in a game that I think they're going to win
So not put it entirely in his hands?
Yeah, I mean, because I believe, and I think they'll believe, that he will have some rust. And I don't think they want to
Jay,
make him throw 45 passes.
You think that there'll be more running?
I think he will be running a lot.
You do?
I see a lot of RPO with
yeah.
him.
I can't wait to see that piece.
It's him or Nick. It's either give it or pull it back.
And I can't wait to see that piece.
I think Chubb's going to have a monster game. I think he could run for 150 plus in this game.
Hopefully he's on my fantasy team.
It'd be nice too, because I think that would take a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah.
If that is the game plan, I would say it's smart on Stefanski's behalf. Because the one thing you don't want, and I don't think anybody here thinks that it could happen, the worst case scenario is that they lose and it's Watson's fault.
Oh, yeah.
That is the worst case
Or
scenario.
they lose, it's Watson's fault, and he get hurt.
Yeah, see, I don't let my mind go there.
Right.
You've done that a number of times.
Keep with the hurt.
I might cry.
Oh, my
No.
You will cry.
Oh, 6-0. 6-0's done.
No more Kool-Aid.
Nope.
Question number 3. Maurice is logging off. He's logging back in. We got his
Okay.
audio fixed, so he'll be here in a sec. But question
Okay.
number 3. Will Nick Chubb outrush the Texans by himself? Somebody says no. That person's not here, meaning everyone on set today said yes.
Tyvis is wrong.
Tyvis is lost in the soup. I mean,
How they going to get them yards?
they got their rookie back has actually been pretty good, but they're going to probably fall behind. And they're not. They just don't do anything well. I don't
We
know.
do have to remember that the Browns' rush defense is on par as one of the worst in the game
Agreed.
in 20 years.
Yes.
But if I'm the Browns, I'm not even worried about the passing game. They don't even have a quarterback.
So you're going all in to stop the run.
Yes.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah, I got 10 people up there. 10.
But at some point, they went all in to stop San Diego's ground attack,
Yeah.
and they couldn't. Now, I know they had a great back.
But they couldn't go all in like you could against the Texans
they got
because they got a
Justin
great
Herbert.
quarterback.
They got Mike Williams
This team doesn't have a quarterback.
The Browns can do to the Texans what a lot of teams have done to the Browns.
Right.
You're right.
Just take that film
Yeah.
and just transpose
flip
it.
it.
Yeah.
Their
There you
quarterback
go.
is significantly worse than Jacoby
Yes.
Brissett.
Yes.
I mean,
Davis
Yes.
Mills has been awful.
Yeah.
Is Maurice on?
We got Maurice. Maurice, what's up, man? How you doing?
Mo, what's up, brother?
What's going on?
What's up, man?
Wow, that's an interesting locale. Are you on a subway train? Where are you?
got bad connection.
No, so I'm actually in Cleveland, rolling through the streets.
You're in Cleveland. Okay, very good. Hey,
Yes.
before we start with No Fence Riders, we're going to finish with the Ohio State stuff, and we'll give you your moment on that. I wanted to commend you and congratulate you. The story that Game Day did
Yes.
on Saturday before the Ohio State-Michigan game was a true testament to a man who self-examines and reassesses and pivots and takes lemons and turns it into lemonade. I thought that Gene Wojciechowski, and I talked to him after the piece about it, I thought he did a marvelous job. He's my favorite television reporter anyhow. But I wanted to congratulate you for telling your story in a way that was very endearing, and we couldn't be more proud of you and the work that you've done to make all this stuff happen for yourself.
No, thank you. Hold it real quick. Let me close this up. Now, I really am in Cleveland. I had to come to the front seat now, but thanks for the compliments. But me and Gene have had a long relationship. We were able to get back together 20 years later and complete the story. I was happy with how it turned out. And what everybody's seen, and I always say it, it's just a process that's been taking place for the last, 10 or 15 years of my life.
Right.
Just getting up every day, working, compounding positive effort, handling my business like I'm supposed to. And, I came to the show, what was it, last spring or summer when I began to talk to you all. And I kind of shared some of my life with you all, but that small 6-minute clip kind of showed a larger part of it. I wasn't joking. I was in the back seat doing it, but I'm really in Cleveland, ripping and running, doing business and chatting with you right now. But it's literally what I do every day.
I think Gene said in the story that you try to fit 28 hours into every single day.
Oh, absolutely. Every single day I get up and handle business, and the title was correct. You don't want to waste any days of your life. I think being in prison, you start to realize how much time was wasted just playing around with your life. Not taking yourself serious, not doing some of the stuff that you promise yourself you'll do, taking things or opportunities for granted. And so I get up like I got up today. We got in at midnight last night up in Independence, and I was up at it 4:30 this morning getting after it. And I do believe in sleep, but I also believe that if you have opportunity in front of you, and if you're serious about it, and if you're serious about handling business and holding your commitments to your partners and holding commitments to the people who are in business with you, that you'll get up and you do what it takes to make something successful. And I've been fortunate enough to do that. And I don't know. After I was done with the piece, I hit you up and I told you I was happy with it. I was happy with Gene.
Right.
I'm happy with life, happy to have joined the show. After a baby and after all those other crazy things, I thought I'd be able to get up to Cleveland more and sit down and hopefully enjoy this part of the season and get in studio and be in studio. But I don't know. I'm just loving where my life is at right now.
Well, you should be. And as someone who's a friend of yours and Gene, I know there was beef there for a long time. I'm really glad that bridge has been mended because you're both excellent human beings. Back to Fence Riders. Question number 4.
Question number 4, Maurice, we'll start with you like usual. Will this be the game the Browns defense finally forces multiple turnovers? What say you?
So me and my buddy Brown, we say yes. So I looked at my no Fence Rider questions before this, and I said yes because I'm Homer, and I hope Cleveland wins by 1 million. Yeah, baby. Well, how about this? I'm pumped up like everybody else that Deshaun is playing. And I'm happy he's back there playing. I think that not the crowd will go wild. They'll probably boo him. But hopefully the Browns get excited about what's going on and we get us more turnovers than we usually get. And so I'm saying yes.
Hey, Maurice, you got your Kool-Aid, right? I sent that. I got the Kool-Aid ready for us to drink, the 6-0 joint. It got the jars. It got the thermos. You can get those over at Circle K as well. Just tell them G. Bush sent you. And go get the Kool-Aid.
Just ask for the 6-0.
6-0. Get that 6-0.
6-0 special.
Yeah, if they go up there, please don't go up there for real, though. Like, I got a lot of really crazy people in there. Don't go to Circle K, say G. Bush said nothing, bro.
Only one person agreed with Maurice on this, by the way.
Oh, wow, really?
And that was bold.
I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Hey, listen to me. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid because I'm a forever optimistic fan about the Browns and all things turning around. So I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know the Browns haven't turned the ball over or forced a lot of turnovers this year.
Is it still 3? Do they have 3 takeaways?
I don't even know what the number is. This is more about the Texans being awful and their quarterback likely throwing some picks. I think the Browns will, and I think they'll just be more. They were more aggressive defensively against Tampa. I think they'll be more aggressive this week.
It's so funny. They say they got 8. I remember Denzel Ward got 1 against the Falcons. I think
Grant Delpit picked off Baker.
There's a fumble recovery against the
Clowney sacked
the Ravens.
Flacco.
Clowney against Flacco. Miles Garrett forced 1.
Yep.
If you can name all the turnovers off the top of your head, that's a bad thing.
Well, there's 8
You don't have that many.
11 games, so they're not even averaging a turnover a game.
No.
That's like my mom said,
this is the game to
your
turn the
money.
corner.
Right here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you would think that there has to be a regression. Or in this case, you'd think that they would pile them up.
Right.
Because they've been without turnovers all year. But I think that's also a product of they don't blitz. They're not aggressive on defense. They're waiting for the play to come to them, and that's
they have
not
no pass rush besides Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
How mad are y'all going to be if all of a sudden Joe Woods says, "Oh, you know what? Let's just turn the faucet on."
I won't be mad. I would say finally.
I could see it happening in this game.
Where has this been all year?
I'll be mad as hell. I'm not going to be mad. I would be mad as hell. I'm like, where is this at, Jason? Where was this? He was like, hey, man, we just figured some things out. Goodness, I don't want to.
I know.
That's the problem with going to 6-0.
Well, you know, when
that's going to be a question mark if they do.
Here's what I was thinking about yesterday. At the beginning of the season, when they were starting their macro game plan, how are we going to address the season? I imagine that this discussion was had. We can't be super aggressive because we don't have the quarterback offensively that if we get in a two-score hole, that he's not built to bring them back from that. So I think that was probably a conscious effort for them to lay off on the blitzes because we can't get burned.
Well, surprisingly, their blitz rate is middle of the pack. I wouldn't have guessed that.
You know what, Jay? I don't know why the hell I didn't think about that. That's really right. Like,
but at some point he should have changed that thinking because Jacoby was playing well and the defense wasn't.
What they were doing wasn't working.
Yeah.
But if Stefanski, if we go on the premise that the whole analytics thing is really huge in the way that they call a game, if I believe that Nick Chubb is only going to get under 20 carries because I've read the tea leaves, who's to say that they went into the season saying, look, you can't be blitzing a bunch of people, getting us beat to sleep early in the game. You got to keep us in the game a little bit. And they say we're not going to blitz over this amount of many times.
Nah, I don't buy that. They're middle of the road. They're actually middle of the road in blitz rate.
I like the theory, too.
Middle of the
All right,
road.
what's the next?
We got 2 more questions. Question number 5. Jacoby Brissett threw multiple touchdowns twice in 11 games. Will Deshaun Watson do it in his first game as the Browns starter. Maurice, we'll start with you.
Absolutely. I need everybody to be on the same side of the fence for me on this one.
I think no.
We had a 4-2 split.
Wow.
And one person on the panel, and it's the person smiling right now, I'm looking at you, Jason, is agreeing with Tyvis in the no. Jason, I'll let you explain first.
I think he's going to run it in.
Oh, he's going to run for a touchdown.
Okay, all right.
You know, like
He didn't say total, right?
It's tricky. These questions are tricky because you get it down to the goal line, or you get it down inside the 10, or even the 15. He'll just run it in.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, and plus,
see that.
I don't know that I trust all the receivers yet. So I think
You
I
know-
think you're going to score multiple, and he may throw for one or run for one.
Okay.
Nick Chubb 3 touchdowns this week.
Woo!
And you're saying that Brissett's going to throw for 2.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, Watson.
Yeah.
So there's 5
5.
touchdowns. So that's a minimum of
Big
35
game.
points.
Yeah, I think they scored a ton of points in this game.
All right. I hope you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the last one?
The last question, once again, not unanimous. This one, Tyvis gave me a hell no on. I'll give you that originally.
I saw that.
Will Anthony Schwartz get at least 3 touches? That could be handoffs, targets, catches. Is he going to touch the ball 3 times on Sunday, Maurice?
Well, let's hope so. Let's say yes. I'll say yes.
Man, he is stirring the Kool-Aid.
Hey, that Kool-Aid. Hey, you spiked the Kool-Aid. I like it, Maurice.
He did spike it.
I am glad
Go ahead.
Maurice says yes, Brad Sellers says yes, and nobody else. It is the 7-footer on one side of the fence looking over
there's no
at the
way.
rest of us on the no side.
By the way, he is
you
standing on the
didn't
ground
say
there.
that
He's
score
not
line.
on a stool. He's really that tall. No way he touches it 3 times,
No.
man.
He got it
we
twice?
almost all had seizures when he touched it twice in a game.
Yeah.
Hey, listen,
I needed defib paddles.
Hey, Maurice, I feel like he's warming. Stefanski been warming this playbook up for a long time. Like, if we see him running down the middle of the field, I'm gonna go crazy.
Well, we can say this. Well, there's a whole lot more plays you can call with Deshaun Watson. The playbook opens up drastically, and so we don't know what's going to happen. All we do know is that we have more firepower back there, and that we'll be able to score more points.
You know, it does open the playbook. I kind of close my eyes and see this vision of Schwartz running in motion.
Oh yeah, he's the
And
motion guy.
the snap comes to Watson, and Schwartz is already at full speed. Now, can you imagine an RPO where he's just turning to Schwartz? The defense is all going to focus on him because of his speed. That might leave the left side wide open for Watson just to keep it and go.
Well, I was talking to Wyatt Teller about this week, and he said the linemen love playing in this offense. Be kind of what you were talking about. You look over here, we're going over here.
Yep.
You look there, it's the misdirection.
Sure.
And the linemen love that.
I bet, yeah.
So-
I think we have the line that's built to play this kind of football too. It feels like we do. I'm still not sure about Wills, but if everybody plays
Or
up to
Hagen
their,
does at center.
Yeah.
I got to chime in. Brad just texted me and said, here's Schwartz's 3 touches, 2 reverses, and a drop. So there's his 3.
Drop is not a touch.
That's his 3.
That's a target. That's not a
Drop
touch.
doesn't count as a touch.
that's the thing.
He
It
might-
does count. It does count, Brad. I got you. I'll back you up. on
Doesn't count as a touch.
That doesn't count in the box score as a touch.
By the-
I put it in the
yeah,
text that I was counting
yeah.
drops as touches.
A drop is not
It
a
was
touch.
it was in the question.
A drop is not a touch.
absurd.
Anthony Schwartz will be. I think he's going to be designated as the screen reverse jet sweep guy. Like his catches will all. If you watch Deshaun Watson play, they have always got one guy designated that they're going to throw quick screens to.
Did you see the Twitter clip Hayden Grove put out yesterday?
Oh,
Schwartz drops the
yeah.
ball. Was it Bell the other one?
Now, there was a lot of
there was
drops.
a lot of them.
There was a
I
lot
think
of
Bell
drops.
and Schwartz.
Yeah.
There was a lot of drops.
It was
Watson
Bell,
was throwing
Schwartz,
bullets.
Harrison Bryant, and Pharaoh Brown.
Yeah.
Well,
all
I got to tell you
clunking
though,
off their
now
hands.
those balls didn't seem to have a lot of juice on them. But
I
I was
thought they
I was
did.
talking
I
to Channel 3's sports photographer, and he said, and this is the thing for photographers that shoot a lot of sports, they get the pacing of the pass
Yeah.
as they're shooting it. And he goes, I was behind on everything. I was behind
Yeah,
in
I
my
thought
pans.
he was throwing hard. It looked like he was throwing bullets to
I mean,
me.
I know at times he was. He said flat out, he goes, these boys couldn't catch it.
Yeah.
Because he had too much on it. But he said, I've got to improve my game because my pans were behind everything. I was used to the ball traveling at Jacoby Brissett speed, and he said, this dude's throwing fastballs out there.
Yeah.
balls hitting
Yeah.
people in the face.
And for that reason, No 3 touches.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Hey, Maurice, we got a couple of minutes left with you, and I wanted you to talk Ohio State, Michigan, because you really were the guy who, going back a couple of weeks, said this game scares the hell out of me because of the nasty factor. You said Ohio State was too pretty. Your text to me right at the end of the game was 2 words: too cute. And you were right. You nailed it.
Too cute. Yeah, I mean, I seen it before. You see it in recruiting. You see it just in town. You see it when they interview. You just had no grunginess, man. You don't have, there's no pride in Ohio-style grungy Midwest football. I don't care if my opinion is liked or not. I'm not really here for that. I'm just here to say what I see, and these guys just weren't tough. Like, even when they get smacked in the face and Michigan starts to put their foot up their butt, you didn't have anybody respond. There was nobody getting mad. There was nobody who was angry. There was nobody who was running with authority. There was nobody who was tackling and trying to knock somebody's head off. There wasn't that moxie that you get from your premier football teams. And even from a coaching standpoint, it almost felt like Harbaugh bullied Ryan Day and, whatever his name is, Bowles, the defensive coordinator. It just felt like that.
Leroy said they stole their lunch money.
Yeah. I mean, but just think about that. Even for him to say something like that, he's watching the same game that everybody else is watching. You just don't rip off 2 50-plus yard runs in your rivalry game. Like when you have 11-game win seasons, like they can probably pick up me or one of you off the couches or the chairs, and we can go win 11 games. And you don't get paid to beat Toledo's and Kent States and stuff like that. You get paid to be competitive, and you get paid to beat the big-time teams. And that's what it is in Columbus. Is when you market yourself as the Ohio State and you trademark the name and you talk about these 5-star recruits and you talk about just having this premier program, nobody feels bad for talking about you the way that they do when you perform like that. And that's the standard that they hold themselves to. That's the standard I hold themselves to. And I told you need to get people there early in the season to see what you're made of. Just as well as you had in Notre Dame, you need a couple more teams to fight against, to see what you have, to see what you need to go recruit. But they better be happy it happened now. And maybe they woke up, and maybe that makes them mad. And maybe that brings another level of aggression that they didn't have before. And maybe if they get in the playoffs, you see it then, or who knows? I don't know. But you can't, like I said before, you can't beat those Georgia guys like that. You need borderline degenerates out there. When I played, I was a borderline degenerate. I'm serious. You just need people who are borderline degenerates who that's what they do. They play football. You got to contain them off the field, and they may need a mentor or two. You might have to tell them to go to class and all that other stuff, but that's part of it.
Don't you have 3 years of eligibility left?
By the way, guys.
These are bad.
Hey, by the way, this just coming down. Brett McMurphy just tweeted this. College football playoff officially announces it will expand to 12 teams in 2024.
Yeah, that was the roadblock. The final roadblock for that was cleared last night when the Rose Bowl finally came to the financial agreement. Boy, they got paid.
Yep. The first championship game in the 12-team playoff will be played on January 20th, 2025.
Which I think is excellent news. So we only have 1 more year of this nonsense.
Yeah.
A group of people going in a room and voting who the best 4 are. Imagine if we did that in the NFL.
They'll still be voting.
That's going to be beautiful.
They'll be voting.
But 7 through 12.
That's a beautiful
kick around
thing.
8 through 12. I don't care about that.
Yeah, that's going to be beautiful.
The teams that belong are going to be in, and that's the way it should be.
Yes.
Maurice,
Mike's got a question.
Mike's got a question from a viewer.
Maurice, we do have an internet question. Whenever we take questions from the internet, it's brought to us by our good friends over at PCC Airfoils. Looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits? PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Today's question comes from Kenneth Yablonowski. Do you think the fact that Ohio State lost 2 3-star recruits on the sidelines for that game who have now chosen the school up north, do you think it'll affect other recruits?
Yeah, it has to because Michigan will be able to hang their hat on we're those 5-star recruits in here. We'll win the big game. We'll send you to the NFL. And they're no longer a program that's in the dumps or trying to find their way again. They came and beat the big bad Ohio State 2 times in a row, which makes kids into believers. And it's not this prima donna program. I don't think you all realize when these kids get recruited now, the experience around getting recruited around Ohio State isn't what it was before. There isn't this sense of gratitude. There isn't this sense of like, I want you. It's almost like it's a privilege to be here, and it's turned into something else. And I just think you lose a different kid or you lose different people when you recruit like that or when that becomes your reputation. And I can say this not from like vague hope and belief. I say it from being out there on the road and kids talking about their experience being recruited by Ohio State and things of that nature. So you'll lose a bunch, but hopefully, like I say, hopefully through this loss, it brought a level of humility and it brings a level of hunger and it takes out this prima donna feel that really isn't Big Ten or like Midwest football. Like, I don't know, SEC football has this brand of football and how they play and how they win and what they do. And I just hope that we can keep like that brand, that mentality, that grunginess, that fight, that hunger, that same thing for what we do in the Big Ten in the Midwest. And we get away from all this cute stuff. I can guarantee you Luke Fickell isn't going up to Madison, Wisconsin to get cute. He's going up there to ground and pound and bring some tough guys in. And he's going to play old school Big Ten football. And, you know, you can splash in and mix in this modern stuff where you're passing the ball and running around because you have to do it to compete in the playoffs. But, you need the old school football. We're from Ohio, man. We play a certain way.
Get physical. Maurice, thank you very much.
Maurice.
We appreciate it. Have a great week. Go make that money. And speak